Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Vanessa and you are watching the Exploring Oracle, or the Exploracle for short. So today we will be taking a look at this tarot deck called the Lilifer Tarot. So this is made by Little Darkness, who is also the same creator of the Reclaim Oracle. So it has 22 major arcana and of course 56 minor arcana and 2 exclusive cards and an instruction booklet. So this is a unique deck of 80 cards honoring the esoteric roots of tarot with hand-painted watercolors. Lilifer comes with a booklet filled with traditional card meanings and magical correspondences to help you connect with your innate knowledge and intuitive nature. Okay, so it comes with this sleeve on the box. Oh, and this is what it looks like. It's a standard tuck box. This is the first edition. She actually came out with a Kickstarter for a gold stamped version, and I think it has a better guidebook. But I got this one last year, but haven't really had the chance to use it or to open it. So this is what the inside of the box looks like. Let me just put that to the side. And here is the little white book. It just has a foreword. Okay, the symbols and the 4 elements. Tells you about air, fire, yeah, and it has some keywords like the virtues, the vices, the symbols, and the colors associated with it. Then you have water, earth, and also the zodiacs. Oh, this is interesting. So wait, does it have for all? Yeah, so it also has elemental associations, and then the zodiac. Okay, and then you have your planetary associations or symbols. Oh, I think you also see this within the deck or within the cards in the deck. Then some sacred principles and colors, as well as numbers and other symbols. So it's, even though it's a little white book, there's quite a lot of information here. And sacred features. Before going into the details of the cards, the font is a little hard for me to read, but again, it's because I do have bad eyesight, so it's a little bit difficult for me, but for most people, probably not an issue. So it just has the correspondences and then the upright and reversed meanings. So let's take a look at the end, if there are any spreads. Oh, so for the minor arcana, it's just the upright and reversed meanings, so no associations. And no spreads on the little white book. Okay, so now let's take a look at the cards. So look at the sides. It's not gilded, but you can see the detail or some color on the sides. So it's still, there's still like a design. I think it's from the backs. These are the backs. It is not reversible. It is a matte cardstock, snaps back really well. I think it will riffle shuffle really well, but it is the kind of matte that does feel a little bit sticky. So I think there is a chance that this will clump. But maybe just something, even now you can see, maybe something that I need to work on or to make sure that it's separated before I shuffle. Alright, anyway, so let me zoom in and we can take a closer look at all of the cards. Alright, so you can see here, it is white with a little bit of a border. I don't really mind it. I think it contains the images well. Then you have the name at the bottom. The images are definitely not your usual Rider-Waite-Smith imagery. But there's it's very symbol heavy. So there's a lot of symbolism in the cards. You have here the elements, and I think that was discussed or also mentioned in the little white book. So I'm not really sure it's a good deck for beginners, but of course, if the art calls out to you, any deck would be good for beginners because you would be drawn to learn it. But personally, even though I have been learning tarot for over a year now, I think there's a lot of symbolism here that I really would need to to get to know before I can say that I really understand this particular deck. But of course, I can just go off from what I know would be the meanings of the cards. Oh, and it's also important to note that the Justice card is in position 8 rather than 11, as with an RWS deck. The Hermit card is quite interesting. We have here the Wheel of Fortune, Strength. Strength is in position 11. So, I'm not sure the art style is my typical aesthetic. No, let me rephrase that. The art style is not my typical aesthetic, but I was drawn to this deck. I did get the Reclaim Oracle prior to this tarot, but I also haven't worked with that deck, right? And I would be working with the tarot first, then Reclaim. The reason for it is because Reclaim is really quite, I guess it has a reputation for being a good shadow work deck. And personally, I am very careful to dive into shadow work. So it's not something that I've been called to use the past few months. So it's still in storage for me. And definitely it's not something that I want to rush into, because when I do shadow work, I do want to make sure that I am in the right headspace for it. I'm not taking things lightly, and I would be able to really work on my shadow without being overwhelmed by it. So these are the extra cards. You have Lilith and Lucifer. Okay. Then, okay, so for the minor arcana, you don't get a name, but you do have the elemental representation and the Roman numeral for the Ace of Wands. And then you have other symbols that you can find. So the associations of this particular suit or card to the zodiac and all of these things. So it is, I think it does get kind of tricky. So the force, hold on, let me check. Okay, so in the little white book, you just see here that for the numbers, these are what they mean, but in the cards, in the deck itself, it doesn't really, it's not easily, it can't easily say that, for example, this is the Four of Wands, because you don't have the usual representation for 4. You might even think that, oh, this might be 4, but this is actually the Five of Wands with all of the conflict, or the Five of Fire with all of the conflict going on in the card. Then this is a 6. So unless you really count, oh well, you have this kind of 6 looking image here. I think it might get a little bit tricky. Here's 7 of Fire, 8. Okay, so in some of the cards it's easier because you do see the number, but not in all of them. And I think it also gets worse for the courts. So 9 of Wands, and this is the 10. Then here is the Page of Fire. For the Knights, they are usually represented as riding a particular animal. And then you have the Kings first. It's represented with a K. And at the end of each suit is the Queen. Okay, Queen of Fire. Then we are going on into the Cup suit or the Water suit. Again, the Ace. 2 of Cups, so easy to see. 3 looks like that. 3 of Cups. The 4 is the symbol. The images are pretty much familiar. I mean, if you already know the meanings of the RWS, you would also interpret it the same way. Well, I mean, the images are quite familiar. So if you see, for example, this 4 of Cups, it does look like the RWS 4 of Cups. 5 of Cups, it does denote that feeling of grief and loss. It's just that this doesn't look like a 5 to me, but it does seem to represent that number. Then the 6. It's really a very interesting art style. Definitely something unique in my collection. Well, of course, aside from the Reclaim, which also has these like, I don't know, abstract bodies. But this is, at least for tarot, it's very different, or it feels different from the other decks in my collection, which is always nice to have. Especially for someone who collects decks like me. Okay, again, this is the, sorry, this is, so again, the quartz, the page of water, the knight, it's in a vehicle, some kind of vehicle, some more mode of transportation, an animal, riding an animal or something like that. Then you have the king, it's represented by the K, and then the queen. Okay, then moving on to the air suit. The Ace of Swords. Where is the air symbol? So here I don't see it, but you do get a clear image of the Ace of Swords. So maybe it's just not as consistent as I would have liked. The 2 looks like an upside down 2. Okay, 3 of Swords, 3 of air, 4 of air, 5, 6. The colors are actually quite vibrant. It really jumps off of the page, or makes the jumps off from the white background. This is the 8, 9 of Swords, 9 of air, 10, and then again the page, the knight, the king, and the queen. And then lastly, where is the, okay, so sometimes you have to find like the markers, so the Q is here. Yeah, anyway, lastly, for the earth suit or earth element, or the pentacles, you have the ace. I already know that this will stick when I try to overhand this. It kind of also looks like a face. 2 of earth, 3, 4, 5, the 6, 7, 8 of pentacles, 10 of pentacles, 10 of earth, the page, the knight, king, and then lastly the queen. All right, I zoomed out and we will shuffle this deck and see, pick a card and see how the guidebook reads. Okay, so for riffle shuffling, it's a kind of stiff. It's a new deck. It's the first time I shuffled it, so that's why it's a little bit stiff. We'll see if it's not shuffling the way I want it to, but it might be because, again, it's still new and I'm still breaking it in. And it actually feels, you know, the cardstock feels really good, so I think that's also why, because it's thicker cardstock. So cardstock quality, it's really very subjective. Some people, like me, prefer it to be a little bit thinner so I can get a better riffle. Some people like it really thick. So I'm just showing you how it is, so that you can make your own mind up whether you like it or not. So yeah, I think I think it will shuffle well eventually. But I do know that this is going to clump. See? It's sticking. So with decks like this, I usually have a hard time picking jumpers. But, oh yeah, there's still 2. But we'll try and read for that. Which is the 2, 4, 6. 6 of Cups, yeah. But yeah, so normally it's difficult to shuffle this way. So I would either fan it out or cut and pick a card to read. Anyway, we will be reading for the 6 of Cups. Let's see how the guidebook reads. So in the guidebook, it says here, for the 6 of Cups, the upright meaning or keywords would be memories, past mistakes and experiences, healing family wounds, needing closure, comfort, nostalgia, and looking back to find peace. And then the reversed meanings or keywords would be being stuck in the pain or idealizing it, the need for independence, the focus on the future, regeneration, and leaving home. So I'm not, because it's a little white book, although you do get a lot of information here at the start, the actual meanings on the cards themselves are not something that I particularly am, or it's not anything that interesting. I think she does have a, with her new Kickstarter, she does have an improved guidebook. So I don't know if I'll pick that up or if I can get it separately, because I don't really think that I want to get a deck with the gold gilding. But yeah, I'm not too sure yet of how I feel about this deck. I think there is a lot of hidden symbolism in it. There's a lot to learn. It's very interesting to try and get to know and try to learn about the symbols used in the deck, in the cards. But we'll see. I don't know yet how it's going to read for me, and I'll work with it this month and see how it does. Anyway, if you like this video, don't forget to click on the like button and consider subscribing to my channel. I post videos like this at least once a week, and I'll see you again next time. Bye!